When people think of ancient Greece, they often think of the beautiful beaches, the valiant Spartan warriors, or the brilliant philosophers. However, this old civilization has a lot more to offer than just that. It is one of the most influential civilizations in our world today, short only to ancient Rome. And as such, it is with my pleasure to introduce to you the economics of ancient Greece and how they have influenced our world greatly today as well. This is my documentary on the economics of ancient Greece. It comes as no surprise that ancient Greece's economy relied so much on trading. Ancient Greece was located directly in the middle of the Mediterranean Sea, a veritable crucible of civilization, as it is where many of the very first nations developed. This central location allowed them to spread their influence far and wide. The geography of ancient Greece also plays a role into it, as ancient Greece was very mountainous, and as such couldn't develop a single strong nation, but instead individual city states with their own laws, governments, and most importantly, money. You see, because of this, ancient Greece's economy was able to diversify. You could have people in the north making wine, while people in the south would make clay. And this is truly what allowed ancient Greece to spread as far and wide as it did: geography. You may know Athens as one of the heroes of the Persian War and a unifier of ancient Greece through the Delian League, but did you know of its influences on trade? Athens was one of the first ever nations to create uniform currency. What was this currency, you might ask? The ancient Greek drachma. The drachma was one of the first examples of uniform currency throughout a nation, or in this case, the city-states of the Greek peninsula. It was used everywhere and had the exact same value no matter where you went. Athens also had major influences on taxes. They taxed imports of grain primarily. Grain was an extremely valued commodity in ancient Greece. Its Mediterranean climate only permitted the growth of grapes and olives, and as such, the people there needed to have wheat imports, grain imports. So, they developed what were called citones, which were government agents specifically contracted to ensure that wheat and grain imports went as planned. Later, after Athens had developed this system, they would force seafarers to give up a portion of their cargo or be faced with courts weighted against them. There was a 10% tax on all imports through the Black Sea, which at the time was partially controlled by Greece and Athens. Besides the obvious imports of grain in ancient Greece, mitigated by the government, many other luxury items were imported that allowed for not only a boost in the economy, but also a lot of cultural diffusion to take place. These items were cereals, wines, olives, figs, pulses, eels, cheeses, honeys, meats, tools, perfumes, and fine pottery. Ivory and silk were two other items that were highly valued in ancient Greece, to the point where they would be worth upwards of thousands of dollars. Athens was regarded as one of the finest pottery makers in the ancient world, and produced many beautiful works, including statues and replicas of men and women who had done famous feats. From grapes, they made wine, and some of the best winemakers in the entire world are still located in Greece. However, this isn't what Greece was primarily known for. They were known as a hub for all trade. Their central positioning allowed them to make colonies on many other nations, and doing this allowed them to not only trade with others, but to culturally diffuse with others. In conclusion, I feel it is safe to say that without trade, Greece would have never survived. Their economy was completely dependent on it, as due to their lack of natural soil to grow other crops, they would never have survived unless they had spread out to the seas. Their seafaring ways were what ultimately saved Greece, and its economy, supported by its own uniform currency and taxes, in place by the government was strong enough to keep this empire alive for thousands of years.